like the idea that a voice can just go somewhere uninvited, like a dirty thought in a nice clean mind.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay back at you. And today we're going to talk about how the Trump administration is unaliving people at sea with no public oversight. So what's going on in the world right now that some reason the mainstream media is not even talking about is that the Trump administration is blowing up ships at sea and claiming that they're drug narco trafficking ships, even though they're giving no proof. They're not showing anything that may have been seized or found afterwards. They're not having any transparency with the public. And then there's reports that a few of them are fishing boats. Now, they haven't been verified, but this is coming out from people who allegedly know some of the people who have been killed. So what's going on right now is the U.S. military under the Trump administration has executed multiple strikes targeting small ships alleged to be carrying narcotics bound for the U.S. These operations have killed dozens of people aboard the targeted vessels. For example, one recent report states at least 66 people have been killed in at least 16 strikes. Also, let's not forget that Donald Trump went on TV and said, we're going to kill people. Like, he literally said this. So this is where our commander-in-chief is at. They're just murdering people with zero public oversight, zero evidence of what is going on. There is a trend here with them refusing due process to people and evidence. So a lot of the concerns is a lot of these are there's no released details of what happened. There's no manifest chain of custody. There's no prosecutions involved. To sustain any of these claims, each of the boats would have needed to smuggle drugs or immediately threaten the U.S. for this to be okay. And then they have not proven any of this. A lot of legal experts raise concerns about whether this sort of use of lethal force in the international waters or near other countries is consistent with international law or U.S. legal framework. That is a nice way to put it, because none of this is legal. None of this is legal because they are breaking international law, and people are just tiptoeing around because it's Donald Trump. But they're literally breaking international law to unalive people that they're not even giving any evidence, oversight, no chain of custody, nothing to why these people are dying. I went through and I was looking, doing a little research, and I just thought, what's the timeline of these strikes? Like, how long has this been going on? Because I know it's been going on for a hot minute, but nobody seems to be covering this story. So I went back through, and we have on September 2nd, the U.S. military announced its first strike on a vessel off the coast of Venezuela, saying it killed 11 people aboard, and it was alleged to be transporting narcotics. Alleged. So where's the proof? Where's the proof? Where's the public oversight here? Who is there to keep this administration accountable? Because we already realized that even with court rulings, they're not being held accountable. So where is the proof? They're just going out and they're destroying ships and destroying people's lives, family members of these 11 people. Everybody else is suffering, and they're doing it with no proof. Also, even if they were smuggling drugs, you couldn't do it better without just blowing up the ship. Like, seems a little extreme. But anyway, so then on September 15th, 2025, the administration announced a second strike, killing 3 people, a Venezuelan associated vessel in international waters. By mid-October, strikes had been expanded into the Eastern Pacific beyond the Caribbean. For example, on October 17th, a strike killing 3 people aboard a vessel allegedly linked to the National Liberation Army of Colombia. There's a claim that they're part of the National Liberation Army. We don't know that. There's a claim that they're drug smugglers. We don't know that. For all we know, it could have been a ship full of nuns on their way to the U.S. to give aid to some of these places. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is. Yes, I'm being sarcastic, but we just don't know. And that is the problem. Also, in Trump's first administration, he went above and beyond to only strike down that drone and not kill 150 people because he didn't want to kill people. And it was the one time during the first administration I was like, damn, he did some human shit. Like, he really didn't want to kill 150 people. So he took down the drone instead. I was like, okay, that was pretty cool. Called, warned, said, hey, we're going to hit your little base with your drones for hitting our drone, and evacuated it, got the message across, and didn't kill anybody. I'm always for when people don't die. But in this case, they're out here just mass murking people, and nobody seems to be talking about it like it's not a problem. And they're doing it without any evidence being given, without any due process. This isn't, like I said, this is what's going on with this administration. We're seeing a pattern. They don't believe in due process. And I know people keep saying due process is only for American citizens. No, it's not. It's to anybody who's in the U.S. or doing anything that could involve an American citizen, could involve. So what if one of these people on that ship are American? They have a right to due process. They have a right to all of this, yet we'll never know because they didn't get their right to due process. Just like the people who are here in the United States being deported. Due process actually applies to them. You guys just don't like it, so you keep trying to move the goalpost. But honestly, the problem is, like we were just talking about, that if we don't give due process, then an American citizen could get wrongly deported because over 170 of them have been arrested by ICE illegally. So what makes you think that maybe a couple of them haven't been deported? We don't know. They don't give us transparency for any of this. But back to the military strikes that keep happening on open seas. On October 27, 2025, the U.S. military reportedly struck 4 vessels in the Eastern Pacific in one day, killing a total of 14 people in those strikes. That must have been a big import-export day, right? We're killing multiple ships. 4 vessels get shot down in the same day. Wow, they are exporting the shit out of some drugs over there. Like, literally, think about that. 4 of them in one day. Also, you didn't stop any of them. You didn't search any of them. You didn't prove to us that you had any credible, reliable intel. And these were drug smugglers. And you've proved over time that Pete Hegseth and the rest of those fucking idiots wouldn't know good intel if it slapped them in the face. Plus, they would just fucking text it to all their friends in DMs and texts that aren't secure. All right, so on November 6th through 7th, 2025, the administration announced that the tally had reached 16 or 17 strikes and at least 66 to 69 people killed in those operations across the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific. So literally, think about it. They don't even know exactly how many strikes they did, and they don't know how many people they killed, but they definitely know there was drugs. This is the fucktard logic that keeps going on in the White House, and this is why nobody has any faith in this administration. Well, beyond a lot of other things. But all they do is lie. We can't believe them. There's zero transparency. They can't stand any kind of oversight. They just want to run around like a big dictatorship and do whatever they want. And then you have congressional and international illegal experts raising concerns like the administration has not publicly released detailed evidentiary proof that each vessel was carrying drugs or posed an imminent threat to the U.S. Yes, drugs or imminent threat to the U.S. So it raises the question whether striking these vessels on high seas or near other countries without clear hostilities fits within traditional rules of war, maritime law, or U.S. law governing use of force. And it doesn't. There's other legal experts that will just come out and say it, but there are some of them who want to beat around the bush and act like Mike could be whatever because they're afraid of Trump. And if you say too much to Trump, then you already know that he's going to get on the defensive. He's going to make up a nickname for you. He's going to call you names, and he's going to tell everybody how dumb you are, while making himself look stupid in the process. But that's what Donald Trump does. Like, nobody should be shocked about what's going on with this administration anymore. What's shocking to me is the lack of transparency from the mainstream news. The fact that they no longer cover stories like this, and they're only in it for views, and they only want to spark this anger and fear so that they can get views. So they just really lock on to like the most recent thing that's got everybody worked up, and then they just leave out all of the shit that's going on. And people act like it's behind the scenes, but it's happening right in front of us. Just nobody's reporting on it. And they're literally out there taking people's lives without any proof being shown. And again, do we trust them at their word? And I would say barely anybody trusts them at their word. Look at the polling. It's in the tank. Like, Trump has set all-time lows for approvability. It is crazy. The economy is jacked. Everybody's upset. He lies about everything. He keeps getting, his lawyers keep getting busted in lies in court hearings. So, like, how can we believe anything that's been said by this administration? How can we believe anything that Pete Hegseth is involved in? Maybe he's got like a fucking 12-pack in him before he even goes in to deal with this shit in the Situation Room. I don't know. I'm just talking shit at this point. But again, thank you all for watching. Thanks for the support. You are loving the content on Facebook. We love you for all the support. Please go over to YouTube. Go over to Instagram. Follow us. It's easy to find. It is at Planet Politics News on all platforms, and keep your eyes open for the liberal lens. I'll keep bringing you more stories. You keep watching the content, and let's keep fighting the good fight. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Everything's polluted. The environment, the government, the schools, you name it.
This radio person is the whole problem. Are we going to allow this guy to be heard by anyone who can turn a dial?
You out there? You listening?